It's definitely telling me every time that it's unauthorized still. Which is real weird because I got the token. So if I was to look at my context, do I have a user on this? I do, but it's not passing anything. So we want to make sure that I'm passing this as authorized, right? And now I should be able to add this into the header. So we want to look here and we want to say SignalR Angular add to header. Looks like that I can do it right here with my new hub connection. Interesting choice. New hub connection builder. So this makes a hub connection, right? With the hub URL. So can I do it in here? Probably not, huh? Can I do it in build? If I look in hub connection builder, you have a build. Still don't see it. Just a second. The first thing I wanted to check was, hey there, Patrick, how are you doing? Thank you for that subscription. Appreciate that. Yeah, buddy, thank you very much. So, HMigo, I'm getting unauthorized when I'm calling. So I have an Angular app, right? And so in my application, I've made an identity server, which has the, oops, wrong one. I have the identity server here, which has the client app on it. And then I'm getting unauthorized here when I'm calling user info client, because I'm on the web API now, not on the Angular app. And I'm calling user info client on the web API, and it's telling me unauthorized. Just a second, please. Okay. Yep. Just a second. Still not authorized. Still not authorized. Yeah, that's working fine. It didn't even cover it. I need to add a custom header onto this. With header is what I want. Build dot with header. It says that I need to declare this differently. Why would it be? You have problems passing the access token? No, it's right here. See, I'm passing the access token as a query parameter. And then I have a CORS policy which is running, okay, here. Which allows my app in, so I'm successfully connecting to the hub. The problem is when I'm trying to hit my user info client is that I'm hitting it from this other client, 54495 44337. Just a second. Four 4337. We're changing the port now. So now it should allow connections from this URL. And also I'll do it for this one, 54495. That's right. Calling the client open DJ radio. Okay. Does it return a hash code instead of a param? No, I'm getting the hash code. I'm getting the hash code and I'm getting the access token in C#. I'm receiving the access token here. Okay, it's when I'm calling my user info client that it's failing. What language do you recommend for backend from someone coming from front end? People like Node.js a lot. I like ASP.NET. This is so bizarre. I guess I could look at the log. Let me see what the log is telling me. Oh, here's what's happening. Invoking user endpoint, JWT token validation error. Signature validation failed. Okay, so let's look up what that means. Identity server for JWT token signature validation failed. I've added my own PFX added with add signing credential. It was different ID server installations. Client was getting the token from ID server A, but I was trying to validate it at ID server B. Interesting. Where is he signing his certificate? Okay, so if I look at my signing certificate on this thing, okay, you have one here on identity server, which is second. Add developer signing certificate, otherwise we need to add this other one. So let me try something here where I turn off that cert. No, we'll leave that, and what I want to do is I want to change the Web API to HTTP. We'll try running it again. Hey there, Aries. How are you doing? Logs are your best friend. Canny logins. All right, let's try it again. Let me check my response here. Unauthorized. So now when I look at my log, oh, but I'm hitting the actual one now. So just a second, let me get that up. This log is telling me when I look at what's going on in the log, it's telling me right? We run it through, and then when I check the log now, I can see that it's issuing the authorization token. Yeah. I don't see it outputting anything useful in this log. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this. Yeah, the signing certificate starts. My certificate's working fine though. It's issuing tokens. It's that the web API isn't syncing with it correctly. This. No. Let me go ahead and change some paths here. Just a second. Okay, so now I should be using the signing certificate. And then this one needs to change the second. Wait. 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 You're using the wrong URL. My God. My God, I bet you that's all it is. Okay, let's try that again now. If you were passing across the API token and the API would be, well, yeah, because the front end was working fine. It was the back end that wasn't, because it was hitting with the wrong identity server. Now when I check my response, I have my token. Now it's working. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my username here. Looks good. I'm going to read my application user, which I shouldn't have one. I'll make my new name. There's no room in there with the name, so my new room code should be that. Let me check my user here. Looks good. I'm going to check to see if the room code is undefined. If it is, I'm going to read the room. Otherwise, I'm going to update it. Then I'm going to check my application room. I'm going to create one. Then I'm going to create my connection here, which looks good. And I can run my base, and now I'm going to run receive data, which should fire over here. And now it should pass in my well, can't I break on this? I imagine I have to have some debugger starting. I've got no configurations in here, so that's okay. We should be able to do this in here though. Can I see the TypeScript, or is it? I think it's going to be all JavaScript, right? I want to look for chat.service.ts. And on receive data, we'll put a break. We'll run it again. I get my break. We've paused here. I can look at my chat data that I've returned. Looks good. Looks good. So I can just step through it, and we've received my data now. A lot of configuration in Azure is a fun one for that. It'll be in JavaScript. No, it was in TypeScript, which is what I wanted. So now, when I look back here at my received data, now that I have that, I should be able to send my message now. Here. By invoking send message on the back end, which is going to get there. So let's try it. Okay, we can do a test. Send the message across, check out my chat message. I've got no ID on this thing, so we need to fix that. We've got the room ID, which is good. And no message was sent. That's bad. And then we're going to send it back. So it doesn't have a message assigned to it. When I create one of these, I want to say GUID.new GUID. And then I also need to, in my auto map, I need to have one more of these for VM to DTO. this one here, VM DTO. VM DTO. VM DTO, just a few more. Right, just a few more. Two more. One more. Okay. So now, when I look at my send message here, this message should be bound to message, which is a string, which should be bound to message. So is message getting assigned? It's weird. It's like it's never even assigning it. So let's set a breakpoint. Okay, here's our break. If I look here at message, does this have a theming? Okay, thank God. Okay, so now if I look here on my stack, is it not broken? What did it break on? Let's try it again. Okay, and here data, message is test, this message is nothing. So you're never assigning that, are you? Because you're passing in test to send message. So back in here, we're going to do that. And then I can get rid of my message. Second. Message required, name is message. It's passing message across the pipe because it's an ng form. So it's never needing this message up here. Give it another run. We'll do it as a test. Send the message across the pipe. Data is set here. So let's get rid of this breakpoint, let it run. Okay, so now on the receiving side, I've received back message and no timestamp, so we need to fix that. We have our user room. Now, what I don't like about this chat message right now is that I'm not getting enough information back from this. So this needs to be a VM so that I get my room and my user on it. Build it. Now, on my Angular project, where I'm looking at my chat service HTML, where I'm referencing these messages, it's a message dot application user room dot application user dot username. Like that. And this is for message, which on your component is have it as a string. I don't have on chat component a receive message. That's okay. Let message of messages. Who is that? Portland, how are you doing? Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Appreciate the support there. So if I look at this dot message, which is message and chat component, right? That's right. It's an application user room, which is a wait, what? I have it in here too, places? Which is application user and a room. Like that. So that should work. Hey there, Portland. How are you doing today? Welcome. If you have any questions what I'm working on, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Okay, we're going to send the message across the pipe. We've got the message here. I never got the user room on that, so let's try it again. Still never assigned the user room, so I want to make sure that I'm getting this on my receive message, receive data. So now on connected, it's not working again. Oh, it doesn't have an access token. Let's get a new access token. Okay, that's good. Now that worked. So now I can do a test, send the test message across the pipe. We've got it. No timestamp. And now on my receive message, here it is. I've received it with no detailed information about this yet. because this needs to be a application user room VM, right? No, but you're grooming it for all three of them. But the message is sending it, so it's an iChat message where you're sending message. You're receiving this VM, which should have a room and an application user, but it's not, because when it's getting the data here, chat data needs to be a view model, which then we can get rid of these too. Which means that over here, I can look at my interfaces, and now I can scrap these two. We'll run it again. Give it a run. Give it a run. Give it a test message across the pipe. We've sent it across. Still don't have application user room here. It's okay. Let's try it again. So let's check to see what's happening here. Application user and room are null on received data. So back here, we're going to say var app user room DTO equals this. And then we want to do app user room DTO dot application user is equal to mapper.map application user DTO of my application user. And then I want to do my app user room DTO dot room equals mapper.map to my room DTO of my room. Application user room VM. Okay, it sends across the pipe. Didn't get the message, so let's try it again. Okay, this time I did receive the room information and the user information. Let's continue F8. And then when I do my test, I've received my room and user with a message time. We're going to send it back. Here I'm going to push the message to the stack, which has a room and a user. And now it's working. And we can test this by checking in another one, localhost 4200, and logging in here with a different account. Just a second while I log in, please. All right. So now when we come back and I'm now in as a second user, I can run another test. And now you can see that we have a live chat. Easy enough. So we can just make one little change here in my TypeScript, which is on my send message. Interesting. When we're sending the message here, I also want to do this dot message equals nothing. Now it's not there, it's where we're invoking this from the component, so it's here. Love it. Okay, the next component that we have to add would be our requesting. Well, let me think about that. We could clean up the chat, but I think the next component I want to have would be like an account component. So let me look in here at my app. And I'm going to make a new terminal here. And in this one, I want to do a ng generate component called account. And then I also want to do an ng generate service called account. So now I can bring in my account services into account. So when I look at account, I have a couple of things in here that I can change. If I look at my request here for application user update, we can change the username. So I need to have on here a username, which is a string. Okay. Let me think about this for a moment. Because in your chat service, we are establishing your application user in your application user room current. Because your chat service will only let you be in one room at a time per instance. So we can get rid of this and this. And now I should be able to do a private chat service is a type of chat service. And I wonder if I can just do chat service and you don't necessarily want to do it like this. You need to get your you need to get your username here. So we want to have a new get username, which is returning a void. And what we're going to do is when we start this, we want to do the receive message back. So on connect should, but it's in a different hub. Hold on. So we need to request the username. And then I can respond to it from the hub. So if I look at the hub and stop it, I can have a we want to have a public asynchronous task called request user information. One thing I wanted to check here was when I do my onConnected, now, when I look at this context, I should have a user with some claims because they should be authorized. But that's okay. So when you're requesting your user information, this is for editing your user information. So we need to pass in here your token. To get your user info client, right? So do you want to pass the token across the pipe again? No, you don't need to do that, because what you can do is you can do a try and then a catch, and then I have a connection ID, so I can do var user equals await my service dot get read connection asynchronous, and this is going to pass in here the string because it should have one overload of a context dot connection ID. Read application user room connection async. Application user room connection. So in this, we need to make sure that we are including the application user room and the no, that's good. So now what I can do is I can say var application user equals await services dot read application user room asynchronous, and we can pass in my application user room connection dot application user room dot ID, and we can make sure that this one includes the application user and a room. Which now has the application user as part of it. And this should be a DTO. Which is all I really care about. Oh no, because I want this to be a view model, so I want to do await services dot read application user asynchronous from my application user room application user dot ID. And that's a view model, so I should just return that. So to return that, I do a await clients.caller.send asynchronous receive user information, and we're going to pass over my application user. So back over here, in my route, I want to have a new class here called, or a new function, this hub connection on receive user information. I'm going to pass over a piece of application user, which is an I application user. And then we'll have this method where I do this is an I application user, so I could do a application user I application user. And then this is going to be this dot application user equals application user. So in my chat service, my, pardon me, account component TS where I'm injecting this on my ng init, I want to do a chat service dot request, this dot chat service dot request here we want to have a request user information, which will pass a void, and it's going to be if this dot hub connection exists, then we want to invoke the request user information. And then I want to say that this is this dot chat service dot it's okay. Like this. This is going to be called get user information. And then when we receive this, I I need to set my username here, which is going to be it's almost like I need to subscribe like I did here. Where did I have my subscribe? Are you using this anywhere? I don't think you're using this anywhere. Can you do a this dot username is equal to this dot chat service dot application user dot username? Okay, so now we need to have on the HTML, we want to have a H3 here, which is going to say account. So far, the only thing I want is this, which is going to be no form. Actually, it does need a form. Which is going to send this message called submit user data. And then we're going to have this thing for username, which is called username. And we want to say that the ID is username. The placeholder is nothing. The name is username. And we can say username required. And this will be submit changes. Now we need to have on my routing module a new route here called account, which will do an account component. And then if I look on my app, no, it's not that one. It's app component here. I want to have one for account, which is called account. We'll run it. Give it a run. That works fine. We're going to check out account. It's going to request my user information. Good. It requested the room. Good. It requested the user. Good. And then we're going to send it back. There it is. To receive user information. Because I think you need to subscribe it. So if I was to pull open my source tree for a moment, And on my chat service.ts, I'm going to add back in here this event, which is called user info received, equals a new subject of my I application user. So here, I want to do user info received, where I pass in my application user. So how do I call this? We want to say TypeScript fire subject. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. How would you guys do this? There's a lot of different ways. I need to notify the back end that I've received information here. So we want to do a TypeScript subject example. Here's the subject. So we do a this dot that dot next, and that's it. That'll emit. So on my account TS, I can do a chat service dot this dot chat service dot user info received dot subscribe. And then we want to do, it's a subscription. No, that's not correct. It's a, do I have a subscription, which is a type of subscription? So it's this dot subscription is equal to And then back over here, we also wanted to have a get user info from info, which is an observable of my iApplication user. And then we want to say return this dot user info received dot as observable. So this dot chat service dot get user info dot subscribe message, and we're going to say this is my user, and then I'm going to say this dot username is equal to user dot username. And then we also need to have a ng on destroy where I unsubscribe it. Like that. Like that. You also need to have a on destroy. So now when I run it, this should go in the constructor. Hold on. I look at my TypeScript here for account.component.ts. Let's go ahead and see what's happening here. Yeah, so we'll step into it. It says that it never started the hub. And that would make sense because you didn't start the hub in YouTube, starts the hub, home starts the hub, account, now we've started the hub. We'll receive that user information and now it put my username in there. What other information is in this that we want? This user. Their ASP.NET ID, which I don't care about, the song pool max, and the playlist count. Okay. And then this is going to be this dot song pool max equals user dot song pool max. Like that. And then this dot playlist count equals user dot playlist count. And then also in here, we want to say that we have two more of these. The first one is for song pool count max. We'll say that's song pool count. And then the other one here is playlist count, which is that. There we go. You can see that I'm in fact pulling my data incorrectly. So this is good so far. We should make a chat. And we're lined up here for our YouTube service to get our requests going with that. So let's go ahead and stop this process and close this. Let's go ahead and stop the back end. I'm going to come into my source tree and I'll commit. Okay. And we'll push that out. All right, so we're good to go there. So I'm actually done for the day. I'll be back though tomorrow morning because we're on break. I may actually have another shift this afternoon, so stay posted for that. Anxious to get this project completed before the end of the year. If you guys have any questions on it, make sure you join our Discord, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. And as always, these videos are going up on youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. So either until later today or until tomorrow, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later. Bye.